Welcome to the Kat Mak Show, where women turn their stories into visibility, authority, and success. Hey there, I'm Kat Mak, and each week we share real conversations that will inspire you to rise. Be seen and create impact. Why? Because you are saying yes to yourself, and your story matters.
It is the
Hey there, I'm
afternoon.
Kat Mak. I have Amey DeAnne with me here today. And you know how so many women are doing all the right things and thinking that all fitting in and everything is wonderful and everything is beautiful and everything is dandy, but inside their soul, it's crushing them. And before we got on the show 2 seconds ago, Amey and I were talking exactly that. You feel disconnected. You feel like, I'm losing myself. So what next? Amey, you're an author, multiple times author. You're writing your next book, I believe. It's going to be coming out shortly. Can't wait to hear all about it. You're an entrepreneur, but I also believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, that you're a woman that helps women get their power back. Because somewhere along the line, we lost our ish and we lost our stuff, and we're pulling back instead of pulling forward. We lose our voice, and then we lose clarity. And then we're like, what the heck are we doing? So I started this podcast because I've made it my mission to share your voice, because your voice is powerful. And it also leads to expanding your legacy. There is somebody out there that's going to want what you have, and it's going to land. And I'm like the conduit. So I have. So Amey, over to you. Talk to me. We got in early and we said everyone's got a story, but they don't want to share it. So a little bit about your background. Did you just wake up one day and go, hey, I'm just going to be a best-selling author?
I wish it were that easy. I wish it was. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure.
I actually started on this journey of motherhood and raising kids and doing that sort of thing pretty early. I got married when I was 19 years old. I didn't know who I
Wow.
was, but I decided, this is what I'm going to do. So fast forward, raising two awesome kids. They played sports. We traveled with their sports and whatnot. So it was, and probably like a lot of people, I went through a divorce after 29 years of being married, but a lot of people, once their kids are grown, it's like, now what? What am I supposed to do? Well, I'm not running here and there, and it's not all about the kids. It's not all about the spouse. So what are you supposed to do? So you've got the empty nester phase, and you've got those that go through divorce and breakup, and you have those people that are just exhausted by the time you reach that point going, I can't do this anymore. What is there left out there? So that's kind of where I started finding my identity, because I didn't think I really had one.
So what did you do? Oh, this is interesting. You didn't think you had one. Wow. Now there's a powerful statement. So for women out there that feel that they don't have an identity, but I was that person too. And you feel like you don't have an identity. Why? And how did you find it is my question to you, because there's a lot of women, and you said another keyword, empty nester, right? Empty nester, done all the things, the kids have grown up. Now what? I've lost myself. I used to be this person. How do I find myself again? Because I know that you help women find themselves. How? What did you do?
Well, a lot of things. Probably punched some punching bags.
Yeah.
Probably screamed, probably broke some things, I did all kinds of things at the beginning, but I was in an apartment by myself, alone for the first time as an adult. My kids were
Wow.
adults, and I was going to turn 50.
Because you got
And
married at 19.
I did. So it was crazy how
Wow.
I didn't even know what I liked to cook for myself. I was like, what am I supposed to do? It's quiet in here. Is all the things that were completely opposite from what I was used to. And so being there in the apartment, you have to learn to sit in the quiet first. You have to be okay with the quiet. And what you do with that next is up to you. But the pandemic was kind of starting. And so they're like, get outside, do this, do that. And so it was great because I would go walk the trail, I'd go by the lake and just be in my thoughts. Why am I here? Why am I in this place right now? Why don't I know who the heck I am? And so that's kind of where I started my journey, as trying trying to figure out who I was. That's why the book that I wrote, my solo book, is Finding Your Truest You. Is how do you find out who you really are? And really, the answer is trial and error. It was let's see if I like this. Let's try this. No, I don't like it. I'm not going to do that again. Let's do this. Oh, I kind of like that. Let's have some more of that.
Did you find that going through that journey that you were grieving too? I mean, it's, being alone for the first time ever. It's a grieving process, and I think a lot of people don't understand that as well. And you don't just walk away, and I don't know, I'm talking about my own personal experience as well. You don't just walk away going, "Oh, I'm amazing. I'm fantastic. This is fantastic." How did you navigate through the grieving process for women out there that are feeling exactly the same?
Think you have to feel it all. You have to realize that it is a grieving process. You have to feel that anger. Don't deny yourself some of these feelings. If you get angry, like I said, punching a punching bag or kicking it till your foot's got a bruise on it, you got to go through all those and you cry and you scream and you isolate for a little while. I got a little depressed there for a little while as well. And so you have to go through all of those emotions first and allow yourself to feel that. Because if you
Yeah.
don't, you're gonna push forward through something, and then it's gonna pop up somewhere else for sure.
Yeah. Why do women feel so disconnected with themselves, yet around their world, their outside world looks so perfect, but it's
Mine
not?
did. Mine did,
Yeah.
booster club parent, this sports, this whatever, and, it's not I told you a while ago I didn't have an identity. I did, but it was not my identity. It was so and so's mom and so and so's wife, and, "Oh, you're the president of this," or "You're the this," or whatever. But who are you? Who are you on the inside? Really, I didn't even know.
So, what would be one step for a woman if she's feeling like she's lost herself? Because we do lose ourselves along the way, and a journey is a journey, right? Tomorrow, I could be feeling lost for whatever reason. How does a woman navigate to find herself again?
I
Her
think
true
first
identity.
First of all, you need to trust your gut instincts. You need to trust that, if you go to a place or you start dating, heaven forbid, if you start doing these things that
We should talk about the dating scene.
it was, it was awful.
God.
You have to trust your gut instincts first and foremost. If you go on a date and it's crappy, then exit. Or if you try something, like for me, I was scared of heights. So I'm like, I'm gonna go parasailing. And of course I get out there in the water and I'm like, I'm gonna wet my pants. This is gonna be terrible. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I gotta conquer this fear of heights. So the boat sucks you up and you're, flying up above the water. And it was great. It was like, oh wow, it's peaceful up here. So you have to kind of do things that are trial and error. And then your body is going to tell you, oh, this is not good for you, or I don't like this, or let's try something else. Let's ride across the United States on the back of someone's motorcycle because you've never been on one before.
You did?
Yeah. So you have to
God, did you
you have to
really?
try some stuff. And it's crazy how much putting that adventure back in your life and being willing to try new food, try, and places you want to go, try travel. Travel was one of those things at that moment that I first started really experiencing. And I say it sets my soul on fire. It's like, this is what I'm missing. This seeing everywhere around the world that I've been so far since then is amazing.
Do you say to yourself, why did I not do this earlier?
I do. I do sometimes, but I think that, sometimes we get into this, oh, why did this happen to me? And I don't know, blah, blah, blah. But it happened for a reason, whether it was to
Mhm.
give you the shove that you needed or whatever the case may be, it happened for a reason. And most of the time you can learn to benefit from it.
So, what would be one benefit that you've learned from it?
Well, I learned to be by myself, as I was telling you before, just in the quiet. I never really experienced that. Reading a book previously, forget it. I never had time to do that. So from the point that I was single up until even now, and even though I'm dating, I was okay with being in the quiet. And that was something completely different. It took some getting used to because sometimes you sit there and you're like, this is kind of uncomfortable. I kind of don't like it. You really? I've changed that about myself, and I love that. I love that, and I started to go with my married friends to listen to live music, and I learned that that's something I really enjoy. Is it doesn't matter what kind. It could be jazz, it could be country, it could be whatever. Just going and sitting and listening to live music, having drinks with friends. I really, really enjoy that. So you gotta try things until it feels really good.
Yeah, I totally agree. You probably need to write a list of stuff that you haven't done that makes you feel icky. Like I've always wanted to parasail, never done it because it's exactly that. I'm like, if I go down, I'm down and I can't swim. Not a confident swimmer. However, I've gotten on a hot air balloon. I'm like, well, I'm just a fallacy. I'm full of crap. Hot air balloon, you got down, girlfriend, you're gone.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You're gone. That was so much fun. So being in the quiet, doing the stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable, something to be said about being around people, because you said good friends that make you feel good. How did you navigate separating and creating boundaries? Because for me, boundaries was a hard thing that I had to learn.
Hmm.
How did you create those boundaries? Because now all of a sudden, after 30 years, you've got all this time. Do you have time or was it never a priority? That's what I wanted to bring up earlier as well. Because a lot of people say, I don't have time. And I'm like, you do. It's just not a priority.
I think that's
So what are
exactly.
your thoughts?
I think that's exactly right. I tell people part of also finding yourself, whether you are married, single, dating, whatever,
Yeah.
is take yourself on dates, date yourself. And so for the young married woman, that they have kids, say, look, hun, I'm going to go soak in the tub and you're going to take care of the kids. And this is my date, whether I turn the music on, light some candles, drink some wine, whatever. This is my date if you're married. If you're single, I would go to a fancy restaurant. I'd eat a steak, drink a glass of wine, sit at the bar. And if I want to talk to somebody or if I feel like it, then I would. If I didn't, then I didn't. I would just play with my phone or just enjoy it. Just enjoy yourself. So dating yourself is something I think that's really important.
I think you just did something amazing. Dating yourself and actually outsourcing. If you just outsourced, if you're in a partnership or whatever, married, got kids, whatever, and you've just said, sorry, but I'm actually outsourcing everything I need to do today because I'm about to date myself. I love that analogy. And tell me something. When you've gone on these dates with yourself and you know people are looking at you, do you smile? What do you do? Because it's because I date myself as well. And I do things that I'm like, okay, well, I might just go and paint, sip and paint for an hour or go for a walk where it is so random or go to some really cool bar where, people think, oh my gosh, she's been stood up. And I'm like, no, I just really want to be on my own. Has that ever happened to you?
Sure, sure. I think part of that start of that was I was very insecure. I had these expectations of relying on my ex-husband for my happiness and for, if he didn't say this right or if he didn't compliment me here or didn't, all those things, then I was insecure or I didn't feel good about myself or I thought, "Oh my gosh, I look terrible," or whatever, always questioning something. So once you repeatedly go out and do things, you start to gain a little more confidence and it's like, these strangers are talking to me or someone looked at me. Oh my gosh, I might look okay. You just start getting in this mode of gaining a little bit of confidence. And the real secret, the real secret.
Real secret. Don't tell
Not
anyone.
everyone will do this, but I met my realtor previously, and so fast forward, his wife was a photographer, and so I took some photos, and of course she had the makeup and the hair done or whatever, and I'm like, "Is that me? Is that sure? Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's you." And I was like, "Wow, I think I look okay." And so just
Yeah.
gaining that confidence to where you're okay. It's like, and of course, I think age also helps because the older you get, you're like, I don't care if someone looks or not. I don't care what they think. This is what I'm going to wear. I'm going to wear that tank top, or I'm going to flaunt this, or I'm going to do this for myself, not for you, not
Yeah.
because you care what people think, but do it for yourself.
And I think it's important to take yourself out of that comfort zone by going out. And there is no vanity, and I'm one person that's just going to say it. That it's not vain if you go out and do a photo shoot.
No, it was a
It is not vain.
huge, huge confidence boost.
Wanted, yeah. And I think because I work a lot with photographers, one photographer, Xenia here in Melbourne, that is just amazing. She says, don't just take photographs of you. I allow the inside of you to come out that has been locked in for so long because it's a transformation.
It
And
is.
it's what you were saying earlier by getting out of your comfort zone because you're transforming. You're transforming exactly what you said to the person that is finding herself again.
Yep. It was
And
it
it
was
feels really good.
it does feel good. So after this photo shoot, and I was still a little stiff because I was like, I'm taking these pictures. I'm not even giving them to anybody. Was taking them for myself. I
Yeah.
uh, I decided, so I'm still rocking along. I'm still trying to gain confidence. I'm still living on my own. So I took another photo shoot a year later. So it's like, here's the 1 year anniversary. The difference was like night and day. I was not
Really?
stiff. I have a whole story behind straightening my hair. So for the first set, I did straighten my hair. And then the second time came around and I had been on my own for a little while. And I was like, this is my hair. It's curly
You
and
got
I'm
the best hair ever.
just going to rock it. But it
It's
was,
fabulous. I want curly hair. I've got straight hair.
I love your hair. So I was like, you could see the transformation. You could just see the difference. And so I was hoping that I was putting that out there too, that people could see the difference. I was more confident. I was more, and not braggadocious confident, but just confident.
No. Yeah, I think it's important to do self-care
Mm,
because I have a theory, there's so many 7, 8, 9-figure owners out there that are building their businesses will say to you, self-care is an income stream. So if self-care means taking photographs, then do it. Question for you. What is your self-care? What do you do on a daily basis that gets you up in the morning, gets you going? Because you're like, because sometimes you're not always going to feel it.
no,
Because we're lying to say if you're always going to be unicorns. We're not. 95% of the time we will, however.
true. I have this whole philosophy that, if I work really hard, because I still work 50 hours in corporate America every week. So
We haven't even talked about that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I will get my hair done. I will get a pedicure. There's just certain things that's my self care at least once a month. I'm going to go do this no matter what. I might have to eat, macaroni and cheese or something, but
Yeah.
I'm
So
going to
you've
go
got to
do
do
it.
what you got to do that makes you feel,
You do.
makes yourself feel. I dance.
You did.
I
Oh, you
dance
do?
10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes a
Awesome.
day
I
in my
love
home.
that.
Whatever music, don't care. Well, I think we were talking about this before we got on. I thank every artist in the world that creates music, totally selfish for my behalf, because I love to dance.
Oh,
It
that's
just makes
awesome.
me feel good. Yeah.
I love it.
So where to next? What are we doing? Where are we headed?
Well, I've been part of 3 collaborative book projects before. And a couple of months ago, I'm driving in my car on the way to work, and I very clearly hear this, you were going to do a collaborative book project. And I said, no, I just want to be in someone else's. No, you are going to do a collaborative book project. So it's just now opening. I'm just now taking authors. I'm taking a limited amount. So there's a limited amount of space, but I am creating a collaborative book project, and I'm really, really excited about it. Um, the title is Make It Well with My Soul. And
Make it well myself.
it's kind of two parts. So you have these folks who are saying, I have this instance, this pain, this situation or whatever. How do I make peace with this? How do I make this well with my soul? And then on the flip side, you have people that have been through something, they've been on this journey and they want to tell you how did they make it well with their soul? This is something that happened, that whether it's a death of a loved one or a breakup or estrangement from a child or whatever it may be. How does that sit well with you? How do you make peace with that? So those are the kind of authors that I'm looking for to write their stories.
How exciting. I think there is something to be said by putting pen to paper. It's cleansing, isn't it?
It is. I remember the very first time I wrote, it was introduced to me in this book series by an executive in my corporate job. And
Oh,
I was like, well, I'm not really a writer. I don't know about this. And so, we had coaches and we had all kinds of different, editors and various different people helping us through that process. And it
yes.
really does pull out, what you really want to say that you've never said or don't know how to say. So
Yeah. Because you're scared to say it and then it's cleansing.
it is.
So, question for you in closing. If you were to look at the 5-year-old version of yourself, what would you say to her right now?
Mm, mm, mm. I would say follow your heart. I would say you are beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Amey, thank you so much. You are beautiful, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bye for now.
Take care.